All right. Hey guys, welcome back to Crypto. In today's content, we'll take a look at BTC on a macro basis and what type of volatility we could be anticipating over the next a few weeks or even a few months going forward, as we just broke out above the midpoint just by a 67k. Now we almost at 69k as we're recording as of now. Okay, to be exact, for Leroy 68,966. So now let's start off on the macro basis, right? On the quarterly basis first. We just got a big breakout above 67. Let's do this. Okay, so now if we go back to the to our quarterly analysis, what we said regarding the quarterly time frame, when we started to dump back in I think March and going into April, we said it is going to be quite difficult for the bears to wipe out all the quarterly gains we had in the first quarter of 2024 right here. So most bears weren't basically paying attention to the macro basis, so they were just basically looking for those 3,000 4,000 move and started to call for a BTC dropping down to 10k and all that good stuff, right? But if we go back to the quarterly basis, as you can see, as of now, we're only down 3%, okay? And we dropped as low as let's say 22-23%. If we go ahead and double check right here, all right, it dropped as low as 20% this quarter if you basically exclude the last quarter high, right? So which is pretty much normal. It is something like we've been saying over the last 18 months throughout these consolidation and throughout the bull run. So 20%, 23% pullback, we're going to see many of them, okay, over the next a 12 to 18 months. I would say at least we're going to see this type of pullback at least twice before the bull market peak. So we just have to be ready for these sort of price action, retesting weekly 21 on retesting 3D 21 and all that good stuff, all to dumping 30, 40 or even 50% and then pulling back up to break out their resistance and all that good stuff. So the volatility going to be super high over the next a 12 to a 16 month, right? So on the bi-monthly cycle, I updated it as soon as we got the spinning top. If you guys recall, I said one thing we just don't want to do is close below 61.1k, right, in April. Okay, however, we closed below 61k and closed right around a 60.6k area, so which basically gave us basically the the spinning top on the bi-monthly cycle, right? So it wasn't a good news, right? However, we didn't jump the gun, right? As soon as we we saw the spinning top, I was like, man, it's not a good news, but we still have to be very patient because we're still above the weekly 21. We're still above the 3D 21, right? Our 10D MACD was not negative. If we take a look at the 10D MACD, was still positive, even though we had a spinning top on the bi-monthly cycle. So you always want to give market enough time, right, before you react to any directional trend, because the macro directional trend is up. Okay, we said it multiple times. Just don't focus on the daily and lower too much. Okay, focus on the weekly or at least 3D and higher. This way you're going to be able to stay with the macro directional trend. But if you just focus on the 15-second charts like Leroy, the 30-second charts and all that good stuff, you're going to be missing all these big moves, right? And we will talk about the 60k support, how we basically been talking about it over the last few weeks. Okay, so the bi-monthly looks really good. No divergence, so I don't see anything crazy technically, right, in terms of indicators. As you can see, even though it is a divergence, you could draw a divergence like that, right, and draw your higher highs right there. However, right, you got to be super bearish, right, to go with this route. Okay, it's not safe because you just don't know how high you could extend your trend line right here. You see what I'm saying? And at the same time, you don't know how, how high your MACD could go on the bi-monthly cycle, right? So, which basically means like on the macro basis, right? The trend, it is still up, whether we drop 10%, 15%, or even up to 25%. The trend, it is still up till we get a complete reversal on the, on the macro basis, right? So it looks super good. As of now, we at 69,309, right, for Leroy. Okay, so looking pretty good on the bi-monthly, right? We just talked about the quarterly, we talked about the monthly, we haven't talked about the monthly yet. Okay, so now let's take a look at the monthly, right? So if you take a look at the monthly, we did have a tweezer top. Okay, so all the bears came out and say, we're going to dump down to 50K, 40K, 20K and all that good stuff. I think that was too soon to be calling for these lower prices, right? Because the way we closed back in April wasn't basically convincing. Even though we closed below the previous monthly open, right? It wasn't convincing because we will take a look at it on a daily basis. If you go back on let's go ahead and take a look at it on a daily basis, right? If you take a look at it on a daily basis, we closed below 60.6 right here, right? On the last day of the month, right? The last day of the month. So if you take a look at the all the second half of April 2024, we spent, the entire second half of the month, right, above 60K. And, price action was basically avoiding to close below 60K. And as you can see, at the end of the month, it ended up closing right around like a 60.6. So still close above 60K. So in May, technically, right, we only had like one bearish candle, right, below 60K in May. That was like May 1st. That's it. Okay. May 2nd, even though we closed below 60K, right, the candle was still bullish. And May 3rd, as you can see, we closed right back above 63, right, and never closed back below 60K again, even on a daily basis. If you draw a line right here, you can see it never closed below 60K. And we said it multiple times, 60K going to be the average support, right, regardless of what you got. Because if you're looking for these lower prices, you only got like 24 hours actually, right, to buy below 60K. Really, 24 hours. That's the only thing you had, because you only got one bearish body candle below 60K on the daily. So if you've been waiting like for lower prices, you probably missed like the entire move. Okay, that's why I was saying in my premium, we just have to suck it up. Average buy support 60K. Anything below 60, yes, you could wait for it. However, your chance of catching those lows might be very slim, okay, for the next upturn. I'm not saying like within the next like a few months, okay, we drop down to like a 60K, and all that good stuff. You'll be like, haha, Leroy, be like, haha, I'm buying below 60, okay? I'm talking about like this move right here, potentially even up to 80K, depending on the volatility, right? So if we go back to the monthly, it looks pretty good, okay? I just don't know what the bear is going to be saying right now as we're getting another engulfing candle, okay? Engulfing right here, engulfing back up. If we close above 71, 72K area, we could get a big squeeze, okay? It's not guaranteed, right? But just stay with the macro trend, right? Bulls need to stay with the macro trend, and bears, they're just going to get squeezed, okay? All the way up to some crazy prices to the upside, right? So monthly looks really good. So another indicator on the monthly, going to be our monthly 21. That's the only indicator we need basically on the monthly. Otherwise, we don't need anything, right, in terms of like a MACD. I'm not going to talk about the MACD on the monthly. I discussed it right here. Even when BTC was around like a 15K, I was like, the MACD will not give you a good signal, okay? So, I mean, it will give you a big signal, but it is not going to give you the most optimized signal. Meaning like, if you're waiting for the MACD to cross positive on the monthly to get in, right? Yes, you're going to get in right here, somewhere around like a 35K. However, if you just rely on the monthly 21 EMA, you would be buying 50% below the monthly 21, regardless of what the MACD is saying. And you would be adding, as soon as we basically get back above the histogram, yes, you could add around like a 32, 31, 32K, and so on and so forth, right? Up to, even up to 40K. But we're looking pretty good right now on a monthly basis, right? So in terms of RSI, nothing to say. The RSI is not overbought. It is somewhere around like a 69. It is, it is nothing crazy, okay? So got plenty of time to get the job done over the next like a 12 to 18 months, right? So something to basically keep in mind. So now in terms of supports, right, over the next like let's say 2 to 4 months, just have to basically get the just have to respect the 60K support regardless of what we're going to get on the weekly basis. Remember, your monthly might look pretty good, right? But you could still get some volatility, like to retest like 60K or so on, right? 60K or like give or take 60K plus minus 3%, right? So we'll take a look at it on the lower degree, but as of now it looks pretty good. And if we close above 71, 72 on a monthly basis, that could basically seal the deal. But we will see, because it is summertime and sometimes the volatility could slow down over the next like a 2 to 3 months till October. So if that's the case, we might not break out above 75 and we could stall and retest 60K. So be ready for that scenario. Even though the macro is bullish, right? The buy monthly going to be super bullish if we close above 70. The quarterly, if we close above 72, that's going to be super bullish, right? But just be mindful, right? We could be in range between 75 to a 60K or like a 74 to 60K area over the next like a few months if we do not get enough volume to push the price up above 79K, right? I think that's the only way we could be safe in terms of like a continuation. Once we take out 79, 81K, we could be talking about like over 100K and all that good stuff, right? So just hit the likes. We got 10 watching, I think. Hit the likes. You can share the live stream and all that good stuff. We haven't gone for a live stream for like 2 months, I think, right? Something like that. So we got Quiet Cook in the kitchen, cooking some BTC and flushing some Ethereum down the drain. So we got California Rod in the house. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We got Rug Pool. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I'm doing good. Crypto Moon Boy. Thanks a lot for tuning in. So we'll take a look at the inverse head and shoulder. I don't like those inverse head and shoulders because sometimes they can be like, they can be funny. I will show you when we get there, right? When we talk about the lower degree. So hopefully I won't forget, right? So now let's take a look at the weekly time frame, right? So if you guys recall, when I was saying, I was like back in March, okay? I was saying like BTC to drop 30%. I don't know if you guys recall or not, right? And my reasoning back then was like to retest like the weekly 21 EMA at some point. Back then the weekly 21 was somewhere around like a 45, right? And BTC was right here. I think that was the first week of March before we started the correction. So because I knew at some point, I was confident at some point we were going to retest the weekly 21, but I just didn't know when. But back then, if we had retested the weekly 21 from that point, it would have been like a 30% drop, right? That's what I was basically saying regarding BTC retesting the weekly 21 and all that good stuff, okay? So now we just retested the weekly 21, okay? However, you might be like, okay, Sen, we retested the weekly 21, but we dropped below your 60K support. But take a look at it in terms of like a price action. We haven't had, okay, any candle, right, closing below 61K on a weekly basis. No candle. I just said it in my premium group, right, on the weekly update. The last candle, right, we have had closing below 60K and closed bearish was back in February. Okay, the last week of February, right there. All right, that's the last time we had a candle closing below 60K. So 60K support, regardless of what we're going to get over the next couple of months in this box, right? We will talk about it in terms of wave analysis, but regardless of, you know, the type of correction we're going to get in this range, 60K going to be the pivot point. Because at some point, if we only rely on the weekly 21, the weekly 21 could be something like that, and price action could retest it and even drop back below the weekly 21. So, and everyone gonna be bearish and sucker gonna be rally back up to like you know, some crazy prices. If and only if. Okay, if and only if. Okay, so now we almost at 70K. I think we hit 70K on the dot. Okay, so 70.000000 for Leroy. So all the bears who are waiting for like a 52, you know, 53 and all that good stuff, they're getting wrecked right now. Okay, they're getting wrecked right now. All right, so weekly looking pretty good. Now let's take a look at the 3D. Okay, so now it is going to be very interesting over the next like a few days, right? Why? Right, because if we take a look at our 3D structure, so I'm not sure if you guys remember one of our analysis back in March. One of our analysis back in March, okay, the first week of March, right there. Okay, what we said our RSI at some point will come back down and retest the midpoint. And once we retest the midpoint, you don't want to be like looking for some crazy lower prices, because we will get our double bottom right there after the double top right here. Okay, so it was like, you know, March, April, May, over 2 months ago. So if you Leroy, you probably forgot, right? But we discussed it. Okay, you can go back and check my videos and all that good stuff. Okay, so now a double top, double bottom on your RSI in a macro bull run, it is a bullish pattern. Okay, you just have to give it a go. You just don't want to basically ignore it. It doesn't mean it will work out at 100%, but I would say, you know, it is something like you just don't want to ignore. If you want to ignore it, don't trade against it. Okay, so it is looking pretty good. So if we're going to get a new trend right here, it means like BTC might not even retest the 60K. That's one possibility we might need to consider over the next like a few weeks. Okay, so keep an eye on your 3D RSI. The next indicator on the 3D going to be our 3D MACD, which is going to be super important, just like it was back in January when we flipped bullish right here again after the breakout above the 42K area, and the MACD flipped positive. What we said, rock and roll, okay, all the way up to 57 to 58K, and you know, secondary resistance around like a 70K area. Okay, and buy range was somewhere around like a 39 to 41 at the 3D 21, just like right here, 60K area. You know, price action could basically blast off, okay, all the way up to some crazy prices if we just do an extension of this move right there, because the MACD cross positive right here, right? If we just do a 1-to-1 extension, just assuming like we're going to break like, you know, 75, right? I'm not 100% sure if we will, but let's assume the MACD going to cross positive, okay, and we're going to get a 1-to-1 extension from our 57 lows, right? Price could take us all the way up to like 109K right there, just a 1-to-1 extension of the previous move, right, after the, you know, previous correction right there. So if this entire move is our correction and we're now going to get a double correction retesting the, even if we retest it, okay, it's still going to be an extension. You see what I'm saying? As long as we do not break below you know, the low right here, you could still use the 1-to-1 extension regardless of what type of correction we're going to get in this box. Okay, so the 1-to-1 extension, once again, over 100K over the next like a few weeks or even few months, depending on the volatility. Okay, So now on the 2D basis, looking super jullish, right? Looking jullish right here. The 2D MACD is positive, right? And if we take a look at the USDT dominance, right, the 2D MACD is what? Is negative, and it is dumping. So it means like alt will pump at some point. We just don't know when alt going to be pumping. So if you're bearish on Ethereum or anything, be cautious, because the 2D MACD on our USDT dominance is back to negative. I said it right here. As soon as we flip negative, you know, I warned my premium members, right, in the premium group, said, hey, the 2D MACD cross negative on our USDT dominance, we're most likely going to be rock and rolling with BTC and Alt, okay? And the USDT dominance going to be dumping all the way down to potentially 3.8, and that's exactly where we got our support at, 3.8, 3.7. However, right, we will go back to BTC, right? We might not, okay? I'm not sure if we're going to break 3.8 on our next retest. So something to consider, because it could basically do something like that before breaking lower. But we will see once we retest 3.8, 3.9, 3.7 and all that good stuff. We'll basically take a look at the price action again, okay? So the 2D looking pretty good. As you can see, I don't like this broadening wedge. Let's just do it like that. That's our W, right? That could be our X right here. We'll see once we break out above 70, you know, we'll just say, okay, it is going to be a continuation. If we do not break out above the 70, just all-time high, okay? If we do not break out above the all-time high, we could be saying, okay, now let's just rock and roll back down to retest our support, reaccumulate, and then we could go up higher later on in Q4 2024. Right, so now let's take a look at BTC on a daily basis. So the daily looks really good, okay? So daily 100 EMA support only closed one candle below the daily 100 EMA, bounced right back up to the daily 21, retested the daily 100. Now it is basically making a move like that, okay? At some point, right, it was looking like a three-way move, but as of now, it looks like it could be, you know, something like a five-way move, right, to the upside, okay? But we will see, right? Because sometimes you just don't know how extended your wave 3 could be. Because sometimes, most of the time, we expect like 1.618 extension, and sometimes you could get like 2.8 extension, okay? 2.618 extension. It all depends on the volatility. But if we go by the 1-to-1 extension, 69.7, right? 1.618 extension will be somewhere around like a 76. Okay, 76. That would be our 1, 2, 3, right? 4 and potentially 5 right there. Okay, just assuming, okay, once again, we're not going to do all that extra correction, right here. All right, this entire move could be a single 5-way structure for a new wave to the upside, right? After retesting potentially 80K, could retest like, let's say, you know, even drop back down to like a 72 and then basically rack and roll, stuff like that, you know, all the way up to some crazy prices for Leroy. But we'll take it step by step. I just don't want to over analyze the correction phase. It is a very easy correction phase, support and resistance. If you overcomplicate it, you might miss the entire run. Just buy at support, take profit at, you know, at resistance 72, 73, 74, and wait. Okay, if we clear the resistance, jump back in or jump back into alt, you know, because alt still looking super juicy. If you take a look at total 2, take a look at total 2, right? Still got another 14% runs, right? You see what I'm saying? So just to retest the March highs right here, right? So it means like Ether got at least another 14% run to retest its, you know, to retest. Ooh, sucker broke. That's Ether. Whoa. Last time I saw Ether was 3150. I just updated the premium group at 3150. So sucker, right? Right here. So Ether just, you know, just to retest the March highs, right? Ether got to break out, needed to break out like 30% before the live stream, right? Ether was right there 3150, because I remember I just updated the premium group like when Ether was at 3150, because we know in our premium 3150 is a pivot resistance, pivot support, you know, 2850, right? So that's why you are seeing this blue shaded area. That's the range, 3150, 2850. You just buy and hold. Okay, that is a macro support regardless of the correction phase. It is a pivot. It is a pivot pivot support. That was a nice move for Ether, 3400 right now. So it means like BTC about to cool off. Really, Ether is breaking out. So it means Ether BTC is breaking out, right? Let's take a look at Ether BTC. Yep, Ether BTC is breaking out. So, but the resistance for Ether BTC, it'll be somewhere around like a 0.052, which is another 7%, right? So if you go back to total 2, it only says 14% right here, but 14% on total 2 could be like 30%, could be like 28% for Ether, okay? Depending on the volatility, right? At the same time, okay, Alt will basically rock and roll. Because you take a look at NIA, right? NIA is already back up to its March highs right there, right? Just by like 8.3. You take a look at Arbitrum, nowhere near its March highs, right? So you take a look at SNX, nowhere near its March highs, right? Filecoin, similarly, they're all printing the triple bottom right there, right? They're all printing the triple bottom, but since BTC already retested 70K, Alt gonna get confident over the next like a few weeks to try to at least get back up to the, you know, March highs, okay? Most of these Alt, or all of them potentially, since we're in a bull run, right? So you got Uni, you know, breaking above the 8.5 resistance. Is March high, somewhere around like a $16, right? Take a look at Atom, triple bottom. You could call it like high lows, right? So just need to break out above 9.5 and we could be rock and rolling all the way up to $14, assuming BTC will stay positive, okay? So you take a look at a BNB in a nice symmetrical triangular formation. So just need a breakout. So if BTC stays confident, most likely BNB will be doing all that good stuff over the next like a few months. So ICP actually been consolidating the entire time the market dumped. ICP is still above $10. All right, so let me take a look at the chat room to see if any of you Moon Boys got any questions, okay? Otherwise, I'm just gonna call it a day. We got Pablo S Crypto. Where you been, man? Pablo S Crypto only shows up when BTC is mooning. So kind of like Leroy, right? And Jude Moonboy XRP 589. They only show up when market is pumping. So guys, let's take a look at the BTC dominance, because we haven't talked about the BTC dominance recently, right? So the BTC dominance, okay, don't get caught up, okay, with all this noise, right? And then you're gonna be like, oh, let's say if the BTC dominance drops back down to like 54%, all the moon boys gonna come out and say, oh, we're dumping. No, we're not. Okay, so we have to at least take out the weekly 21 EMA for like at least 1 to 2 weeks before we can confidently say, okay, alt will be mooning, right, for a mega alt season. Okay, so as long as we above the weekly 21 EMA on the BTC dominance, right, we're most likely not going to get an alt season. It doesn't mean like Ethereum cannot break out like 30%, 40%, or even like 50%, or like a Solana cannot go up, or like a Dogecoin can't go up. But collectively, okay, alt won't be mooning like 100%, 500%, 1000%. Okay, as long as the BTC dominance is above the weekly 21 EMA, right? But you're going to get some solo pump, but you're not going to get a collective pump, right? So something to keep in mind. That's why it is very, very important to be accumulating alt while the BTC dominance is going up. The higher the BTC dominance, the better alt season we're going to get, because we don't want to start our alt season, right? Let's say we didn't want to start our alt season right here, like 43, right? BTC might drop down to like a 40% and the alt season might be over, right? But if the BTC dominance goes up to like, let's say, even if we take a look at it on a quarterly, right? If the BTC dominance goes all the way up to 60%, right? That's going to be nice, okay? Alt will suffer. They might not pump against BTC. However, you're going to get a big move back down to 45 or even like a 40%. So the higher the BTC dominance, the better alt season we're going to get. So don't get paranoid, right, by the BTC dominance pumping and all the bears coming out and saying, hey, I told you your alt going to zero and all that good stuff. Yes, some of your alt will go to zero though, but you know what I mean, okay? If you hold like few top alt, right, not all of them will go to zero. Okay, okay. CA Rod, can you take a look at Doge? So Dogecoin, you guys know I'm bullish on Doge on a macro basis. Not 10%, 15% move. Let's see, Doge. So on the macro, it looks good. If you've been following our channel, even like back in 2022, right? What we said was like Doge accumulation phase, right? Going to be between 5 cents to 7 cents. Do not discriminate regarding the price. Don't be like, okay, I'm waiting for 5. I'm waiting. Just accumulate. Whenever you don't get wrecked, right? You just buy Doge. Okay, so you know what I mean, right? So just accumulate between 5 to 6 cents. I said it, for the longest, and now we hit our target resistance around like a 21 cents. Got rejected. Came back down halfway through the previous, quarterly cycle, right? Got some support at the monthly 21. Actually didn't hit the monthly 21. I think weekly 21. So we're still above the weekly 21 in a bull market, right? In a bull market. So that is a super bullish, consolidation. As long as we can stay above the weekly 21, I think Doge will be doing well. And one thing we learned about Dogecoin, even before the BTC halving, was like you want to accumulate Dogecoin before the halving. Okay, because as soon as BTC, actually, let me take it back. Okay, you want to accumulate Doge, right, at the bottom, and at the same time, right, as soon as BTC, right, makes a new all-time high. That's what I meant to say. Okay, so previously, whenever BTC breaks out above all-time high, Dogecoin, tends to basically pump, right? So even if you go back to 2020, when Dogecoin started to pump, November, that's when we bottom exactly right here. Take a look at it right here. This one, BTC broke above all-time high, I think like February, something like that, right? And you can see the move we had on Doge, right there. So but it did bottom a long time before. In terms of time, it bottomed in June 2022, really, right? So I just don't have time to show you guys the Dogecoin macro layout and all that good stuff. But if you join the Telegram group, it's in the Telegram group, okay? If you just type in Dogecoin macro, you're going to find it, right? So let's take a look at IMX for Quiet Cook. So immutable, it looks good, okay? Nothing crazy. Could potentially be in a 5-way structure, but got to take out the $4 area, right? Hopefully it's not going to be a cup and handle, something like that, where it does something like that and break out. But as of now, back to the midpoint on the weekly basis, so it looks pretty good. Did have a divergence right there, so pretty much similar to Optimism, OP, right? I think I updated that sucker like right before it crashed in our premium. I think right here before it dropped back down here. So OP looks really, really good wave structure wise, right? So this move potentially could be just a retest of the 0.618, right there, 50% to 0.618. Okay. So take a look at link back above the weekly 21, but you know Bear is gonna be coming out and saying that is a head and shoulder, blah blah blah, and all that good stuff, right? But if you zoom out on link on a quarterly basis, you won't have time to be drawing any head and shoulders and all that good stuff, right? You know, if this candle closes positive this quarter, this guy could, you know, could be blasting off above $30, you know, within the next like a few quarters, right? We talk about it right here. You know, it is a nice accumulation phase on a quarterly basis, right? Similar to OEN. OEN similarly, okay? Nice accumulation phase, right? CELR, similarly nice accumulation phase, just like a you know, OEN and a link, okay? So we'll see if this is going to be the final this was our final accumulation phase. 19 months of consolidation, started like July 2022 till February 2024. Just need to take out 43, okay? Yeah, I mean, I just talked about OEN, right? So I didn't see your question, because they all got the same structure, okay? So if you're on R-Weave, I don't know if any of you guys in R-Weave or not, but R-Weave, we talk about it right here at the bottom in my premium, right around like, not even like above $5. I think 3.8 to 4.1. That was like right here, okay? I think October 22nd or like October 30th, right before we break out above the weekly, and on the 3D, right after we took out the 3D21, exactly right here, right? Started talk about R-Weave. The reason why I liked R-Weave versus Filecoin, I said it multiple times, Filecoin inflation is stupid, okay? Even though we did well with Filecoin back in 2021, right? $21 all the way up to $210, right? In like 2 to 3 months, right? However, you can see like you're getting the same return off of R-Weave, right? From like $4 to like nearly $50, right? In the bear market, you could say like at the beginning of the bull market, right? So if you've been following our channel long enough, you know I talk about R-Weave. So if you bought R-Weave right here, you're doing pretty well. Just take some profits and, you know, suck it up and put it into somewhere else. So we got Nibra. Thanks a lot for tuning in, man. Nibra, it's been a while, man. This guy only shows up when market is pumping too. Only Quiet Cook been showing up every live stream during the bear market. I'm just joking, guys, so don't take me seriously. But it's time to see all the moon boys like Aldo moon boy. Oh, Zebra 46 Zebra. Pablo S Crypto. So we're looking pretty good, guys. So we'll see. I don't want to, you know, we got to be level-headed, okay? I know we're above 70K. It looks pretty good. All the bears getting wrecked. All the moon boys going to be throwing party, okay? Popcorn party. So, but we got to be level-headed. Above 70K, it is nice. I'm not surprised, right? So I said it by 60K. I know people have been waiting for, you know, all that good stuff. 53, 52. They're getting wrecked right now, especially if you're leveraging, okay? If you got, you know, if you're playing with a decent amount of volume, you don't need to leverage, okay? You just buy the dip, get your, you know, 20, 30% moves, you know, off of BTC or Ethereum, you know, and then just chill, okay? Take some profits, accumulate alt, be patient. We only got like 12 to 16 months to go, right? And speaking of the 16 month, right now we're about to start our 16-month cycle. I just said it in my premium group, like I think that was last week number 19 update. Let's take a look at right here. Gotta find it. Okay, so I think I just updated it last week, okay? I said, you know, if you divide 48, let's do the math for Leroy. Okay, so if you divide 43 by 43 Leroy, 48 by 3, you get 16. Okay, so most people divide the 4-year cycle by 4, so they get yearly cycle, right? However, if you divide it by 3, you get 16 months, right? You're going to get similar, you know, return, right? But in terms of like a timing, it helps a lot, okay, to stay focused, right? So the 16-month cycle, I said it right here, 1/3. Back in March, I said 1/3 of the cycle has been completed. Okay, we could accumulate, go through another accumulation phase before the next breakout. Okay, so now you can see like 2/3 of the cycle has been completed. Okay, we will get a new cycle in July. Okay, so technically we got 1 more month. So you just don't want to be like, you know, waiting for lower prices, right? Especially some deep prices, while, you know, while we're getting ready for the last part of the bull market, which is going to be the next 16 months. Okay, so yes, you're not going to be waiting for the absolute top. However, if you followed our analysis, okay, if you follow our thesis, right, we said 12 months, right, after the bull market peak, you got to be buying, which is going to be technically 18 months before the halving. You want to be buying, right? And then just wait, okay, right? Do not do anything till 12 months after the halving. If I just want to oversimplify it, that's the best way to look at it, okay? But if you want to be complex, you know, you be like, okay, the last 16 months of the cycle, you got to stay bullish, okay? So if you want to get out early, I would say 12 months after the halving, okay? It is going to be in April 2025. Okay, we said it right here, guys. We said it right there when BTC was around like a 31K, 32K. We said, yes, it could drop back down and retest 15K and all that good stuff. However, right, if we take out 31, 32K, you need to forget about 15K, because we could be rock and rolling all the way up to some crazy prices. All right. Oh, 46 Zebra is right there. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Solana is cooking, or salami cooking? I don't know. Salami. Hey, what's up, Crab Boy? Thanks a lot for tuning in. Moon Boy. crab boy. All right, guys, we got 16 watching. Okay, only 10 likes. If you bearish, right, hit the likes. Okay. I mean, if you're bullish, if you're bullish, join the Telegram group. Okay, I don't have anything else to say. Okay, I think, you know, we're going through everything. The S&P 500 putting a new all-time high, so you know BTC we're putting a new all-time high. I don't know what people are thinking, guys. So another chart, okay, I like to pay attention. Okay, it is the Apple versus crypto. I don't know if it is necessary to go through it right now, but let's see. Let's see if I can find the chart first. Yeah, Apple is looking super Jewish, man. Whoa, that's a market cap, actually 3 trillion, right? I don't know if I can find the Apple to crypto ratio. Not this one, but the so I think we headed to 3 trillion for some reason, or even like not for some reason, but just because of the ratio of Apple to a crypto. I think we headed to a 3 trillion. Of course, not in May, Leroy, okay? Okay, right there. Okay, that's the chart I'm talking about, okay? So I only talk about this chart in my premium group, okay? So if you take a look at the ratio of Apple to a crypto, right? That's actually crypto to Apple, okay? So back in 2017, that's when I started to pay attention to it, okay? When I think crypto was around like what, 800 billion, something like that, and Apple was around like 800 billion. So they both were around like 800 billion. So the ratio was 1, okay? 800 divided by 800, Leroy, 1, okay? So as you can see right here, we retested the same level, the ratio 1, got some deviation above it, like 1.1, stuff like that, right? And double top and crashed back down. And I made a, you know, a macro analysis regarding this chart, and I said once we retest like a 0.35, 0.37, we're most likely going to see another bottom in crypto, right? And it actually coincides with BTC, right, being somewhere around like a 15K. So it gave me confidence of staying bullish in the market, right? So, and if you take a look at it right here, that was like back in, I think March, we hit like a 0.97, almost, you know, ratio 1, right? Okay. And then crash back down to the weekly 220 EMA. So, you know, I think at some point we're going to break out above the ratio 1 right here. I just don't know when, okay? So it is something that you want to keep an eye on, especially when market is overextended and all that good stuff. I don't think we will be like, you know, the ratio will get up to like a 2 or 3 in this bull market, but I think we could get to somewhere around like, let's say 1.5, give or take, okay? And another ratio to keep an eye on is like, you know, the PAX-G BTC, okay? So right here, back in February, as soon as we started to break out, I gave you guys warning. I said, okay, we're going to dump all the way down to like a 0.031. And that's exactly what we did, okay? We dropped all the way down to like a 0.029. As of now, we basically we basically dump it back down, retested the weekly 21 exactly as we said. You know, that's the line you're seeing right here. Back then the weekly 21 was somewhere around like a 0.05. We said our next pullback, keep an eye on what? The weekly 21 EMA, right? So that's why when BTC hit like 60K and the PAX GBTC was hitting like the weekly 21, I refused to be bearish and stay bullish, because I knew even if we retest the weekly 21 EMA on BTC USDT, it might not be something significant. We might not be dropping below it for like a multi-weeks, right? So looking pretty good. Could be dropping back down to a 0.029. So it means like BTC still got some room to a pump, and the PAX GBTC could drop 16%, meaning like BTC could pump another 10 to 15%, right? Potentially. So we'll see if we're going to get another 10 to 15% pump right here. That would take us like 76. If we get 15%, that would take us like, you know, 81K, 19% actually, okay? It will take us above 81K, right? If we just take a look at the PAX GBTC coming back down here, right here, right, 16, let's just say 15% for Leroy, right there. So that'll take us 80K. Yeah, assuming okay, gold will be constant between 2400 to plus minus 1 to 2%, right? While BTC is getting the job done. However, if gold moves like significantly, it will affect the percentage. I'm hoping like Leroy will understand, right? So we got Abandoned Moonboy in the house. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Jason, thanks a lot for tuning in. Been with Send Crypto since 2019. That's a real moon boy right there, Jason, aka 10K XRP. Waiting for XRP to hit 10K. The best friend of Den XRP. So let's take a look at a Bonk. So I don't know, let's take a look at Bonk right here. It doesn't have enough chart history. Is that, are you talking about Mega Bonk or Bonk? It say Bonk 1. Okay, that might be Bonk 1. I mean, I don't know with these meme coins. So okay, I mean, let's go back to the trading view, because I mean, Bonk looks good on the daily. And one thing we could say about Bonk is like the triple bottom we got right here on Bonk. I don't analyze Bonk, okay, on a regular basis, but I just noticed like this pattern right here. I'm seeing it on Alt as of now, right, on a daily basis. That was January to January 8th to February 8th. That was a 1 month consolidation. But let's take a look at some of these alt, and then we go back to Bonk, right? So if you take a look at some of these alt, they printed that same pattern. Okay, this one started like April 14th, right? April 13th when we dumped. I think that was a Friday, if I recall well, Saturday, Friday, whatever, right? And bottom May 15th. So 1 month consolidation. And if you go back to a Bonk, you can see like it basically printed the same pattern we just printed right now. However, on our current pattern, Bonk printed a double top, double bottom right here. So if we take out, it has a lot of zeros. 0.00003, you know, it could be going back up to you know, 5,000, right there. But looks good, okay? Looks good. Aladino, Moonboy, thanks a lot for tuning in, man. Whoa, we got 15 likes and 15 watching. All the Moon Boys and Bears hit the like today. RD BTC. Let's take a look at RD. Let's take a look at it on the 3D. So, I mean, I don't see anything significant yet on RD. BTC. Okay, we at 50%. So just give it a, you know, give it some, you know, give it some weeks to breathe. So it is at 50% pullback. The double bottom right here fell to hold, and then came all the way back down to a 50% pullback. So let's see if the BTC dominance is going to be taking a break. It could at least retest the, or they could at least retest the, you know, I think 80,000 sats right there, or 8,000 sats. I think already around like a $40, right? Yes, 80,000 sats. It's like expensive though. So when they move like that, right, they're very hard to trade. You just have to buy at, you know, at these fibs and be patient, right? You know, it could be something like that, right? You know, even if you hit a fib, you just bounce off of it, and then continue to go down, right? But I don't think it'll be like that, right? So 589, it is still consolidating, so not doing anything. Most of the time, 589 is the last coin to one of the last coin to rally. So you know, if you're trading anything else, don't be rushed. Don't be in rush to if you short terming. Let me rephrase it properly. If you're short term trading, you don't need to rush to get into XRP, because XRP, EOS, Filecoin, those are like, you know, most of the time the last coins, you know, to pump. So you don't want to basically jump in quickly. You want to jump in into like Ethereum, or like maybe Solana, right? Or like the top coins, right? And then once those basically peaks, you could basically come back to XRP. Of course, no leverage, okay? And once XRP break out, you know the market about to take a break. Yeah, but Ether is getting the job done. So next resistance right here, just about like a 3550 to 3650, right? You could just use your Fibonacci tool, right? Do a swing low, swing high to a swing low, right? 0.618 around like a 3500 to 3550, and 0.786 is around like a 3750. But I like to basically give it some room to breathe. So you don't want to wait for these exact fibs. You know, give it like, you know, 0.5% to 1% error, just in case you don't miss taking profits, right? But it was a nice move. I didn't expect it to break out today, really. But it is a nice breakout. Could consolidate all the way up to a 3550 at 50% pullback. It is a 50% pullback at 0.618 pullback, consolidate, and could start to rack and roll all the way up to 4,000. let's see anything else to talk about. VET, you know, it looks good. It looks good. I mean, it just need the 2D to cross positives. So on our last pump, VET was the first coin, right, to pump with one of the first coin to pump with BTC back in February 12th. Right, but you can see it just pumped like, you know, in 2 days and basically consolidated for the following, you know, 90 days, right? March, April, May, June. So but doesn't look bad, you know, doesn't look bad. The BTC pair is not looking that juicy, but still got a macro support around like a 45 to 35 if you're looking to you know, add more on VET BTC. But it could suffer, okay? It could suffer against BTC over the next like a few weeks until the BTC dominance completely peaks. Let's see. ONDO. I don't know how to say it, but I just call it ONDO. It doesn't have enough price history, okay? So I don't know when you got in and all that good stuff, but I just don't like these parabolic moves because you just don't know when you're going to get your next parabolic move to the downside, okay? So, but I don't see any bearishness if I just take a look at it on the weekly because it doesn't have enough price history. If you take a look at it on the daily, I mean, it looks good. You got a fresh new crossover, right? And kind of look like a near slightly, right? With the double top. So if you can break above $1 right there, right? 105, 110, yes, it could, you know, it could go crazy, right? However, if it doesn't break out above the 105, 110 area, right? And we go for a longer consolidation phase for BTC, you might be looking for like, you know, 50% pullback, okay? So, but it is kind of hard to draw your fibs. So I don't know if you want me to draw it from here, like 2 cents, 3 cents area, or you want me to draw it from here. So it's up to you to make that judgment, okay? Depending on how, you know, how you want to FOMO. If you want to FOMO, you could draw it from here. Because I don't know anything about the project, okay? I just seen it on Binance and other exchanges. So I don't know anything about it, okay? So but just be patient, right? Market is pumping. If it takes out 105, 110, you know, you give it a high probability to continue the trend. Yeah, Matic with the triple bottom, okay? Keep an eye on it. Still looking pretty good, just not volatile yet. Need to break out above the 150 to get a clear reversal, okay? All right, guys, I'm just gonna cut it short. It is over 1 hour, so we'll go for another live stream depending on how market will be behaving over the next like a few weeks. If not, you know, I'm gonna keep you guys updated on the monthly, you know, weekly and all that good stuff, right? Depending on the volatility. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the likes, you know, join the public Telegram group. You can join the premium group, link in the description, and do all the good stuff, guys. I ain't gotta tell y'all.